Welcome to this week's Movie Math, where DreamWorks Animation dragged the Croods across the finish line for a badly needed win. Yes, while the Croods didn't boast an opening in line with Kung Fu Panda or even Monsters vs. Aliens, it did match the usual opening gross for a debut film of a possible DreamWorks franchise. Shark Tale, Madagascar, Megamind, and How to Train Your Dragon all opened in the 40 million range, the real test being how they did in the long run. Madagascar and How to Train Your Dragon both made it into the 200 million zone and were granted sequels, while Shark Tale and Megamind only made it to around 150, and so for them that was all Katzenberg wrote. Now in today's cutthroat animation genre, everyone is trying to paint the Croods as a pending flop, saying that with this kind of debut and only 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, the film will perform a la Shark Tale and Megamind. But the Croods did get an A from CinemaScore, and I personally was pleasantly surprised by the flick. So considering that another animated movie doesn't hit theaters until late May with Epic, nor do any family movies in general for that matter, the Croods could cover some serious box office ground in the weeks ahead. But no matter what, this is still a much-needed #1 opening for DreamWorks Animation after Rise of the Guardians debuted back in December at #4 with 23 million. The first film in their new distribution deal with Fox, one has to wonder, though, if the suits at Fox with DreamWorks were going for quality over quantity with their slate. While they have 10 picks lined up over the next 3 years, it's hard to imagine that Turbo will be able to outrace Despicable Me 2 this July when they hit theaters just 2 weeks apart. But while the Croods' debut is open to interpretation, there is no denying that Gerard Butler has finally produced a hit for himself with Olympus Has Fallen. Easily fighting its way past industry expectations, the action pick is Butler's biggest box office opening since 300, way back in 2007. It's also a huge win for newbie distributor Film District, which ponied up 70 million to make the flick, not including advertising. In fact, Olympus Has Fallen doubles the total hauls of most of Film District's previous releases to date, and along with Summit's Twilight and Lionsgate's The Hunger Games, proves that you no longer need one of the major studios to launch a blockbuster. This is also a big deal for spec scripts, showing that the competitive writing atmosphere, in contrast to scripts written to order, still produces some of the best high-concept picks in the biz. But you know who this isn't good news for? G.I. Joe Retaliation and White House Down, 2 more White House in Peril picks opening this year. Has Olympus Has Fallen used up all the box office ammo already? Elsewhere in the box office, admission ended up on audiences' waitlist as it couldn't beat Holdovers, Oz the Great and Powerful, which is still going strong but clearly no Alice at this point, and The Call. That's an embarrassingly low debut for Tina Fey, who up until now has had a small but powerful silver screen resume. However, it's business as usual for Paul Rudd, who has a very large but wildly uneven silver screen resume. Fey has said she's excited to move on to starring in movies where she doesn't write the script as well, but after this debacle, she might want to reconsider that strategy. Overall, though, it was a pretty good weekend for Hollywood as spring break got underway and the top 3 movies pulled in over 20 million each. Speaking of spring break, Spring Breakers went semi-wide over the weekend and jumped to #6. Tellingly, when I went to the movies on Thursday, I was approached to attend an advanced screening of the new James Franco pick. I couldn't think of any upcoming movies starring Franco and was certainly surprised to find out that the man was talking about This Is the End. To describe a film that co-stars Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill as the new James Franco pick just shows what the 1-2 punch of Oz and Spring Breakers is doing for his career. And Hollywood could use a new movie star, as Steve Carell's Burt Wonderstone slipped to #7 in just its second weekend. As for this coming weekend, G.I. Joe Retaliation is expected to be the big winner, while The Host and Tyler Perry's Temptation are set to have a catfight for the #2 position. Or maybe 3 or 4 if the Croods, Olympus Has Fallen, and Oz continue to perform. And that's the weekend box office. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll go beyond the trailer for these other top movies.